when you go to the store and all the damned toilet paper is gone, do you ever wonder who took it? I do. Damn doomsday preppers.
I feel that way about the napkins because I'm such an OCD clean person. Like, I'm like, where'd all the napkins go?
You're right. It's
Yeah, you
always
look at it.
it's always the damn napkins and the toilet paper. And I'm just like like for me, I'll do like a delivery, and then it's like out of stock, out of stock, out of stock. I'm like, what am I supposed to use for toilet paper?
Or the water always gone. It's
What?
either snowstorm or rainstorm. Day
Yes.
preppers. I'm dead serious.
Well, at least they're not thinking about coffee when they're doing this, because if we go out of everything plus coffee, it's over for everybody.
We're gonna be miserable bitches.
Beach.
Bitches.
Beaches.
Is
Oh, you thought you got away?
preppers.
Welcome back, dear listeners, to another chilling episode of Harlots of Spooktalk, where we put the harlots in the spooky time.
That is your host, La
La
Monyeka.
Monyeka.
And I'm LD. We are your ghostly guides through the shadows. Today is a particularly special episode as we celebrate not only the beachy vibes of Cancer season, but also the birthday of the very own Amua.
And I'm Karli. So grab your sage and your salt again, because today we're diving deep into a topic that may be controversial and may or may not raise the hairs on your necks. Will the world really end? We'll explore our thoughts and dive into religious perspectives on Doomsday prophecies that have haunted humanity for centuries.
But before we plug into the abyss of existential dread, we want to hear from you. If you have any ghost stories or spine-tingling opinions about the end times, don't hesitate to reach out to us via email, harlotsofspooktalk@gmail.com. Your tales could be featured in an upcoming episode.
And speaking of tales, we're thrilled to announce our new sister podcast, Host Spiritual, available on Spotify and Amazon Music. Sometimes we just need a little settle down and we just need to settle down, you know what I mean? And find calmed mist beyond the chaos that is happening on this intro. So check it out.
Now, without further let's step into the darkness together. Prepare yourselves for a journey filled with frightful stories about real day opinions and thoughts, and even some photos and videos that might just make you question what lies behind this coil.
So dim the lights, gather your courage, and welcome to the Harlots of Spooktalk's Doomsday episode, where every whisper could be a warning from beyond.
So the Doomsday, well, is it Doomsday? Okay, there's a difference. There's Doomsday, and then there's the end of time, which I guess is technically Doomsday. Somebody shut me up before I keep rambling.
I, so technically, one's like doomsday, like a war or atomic
Mm.
bomb dropping or something catastrophic, and the other one will be more religious with him coming back for everybody type of thing. Is that what you're talking about? Bum bum bum.
Yes. So I was kind of
Oh,
like,
oh.
I don't know. At the time when I was doing this subject, I don't know. I was okay. I was on a rabbit hole. I just doom scroll at this point here lately, and I was thinking there are so many like things, like little hints, like hey, the world's coming to an end, and then I thought, what if the world is coming to an end? And I start thinking about death. And I can ride this rabbit hole with y'all if y'all want, but I think I might be going a little bit psycho. So I'm like, because I think okay, maybe I'm the type B friend. I don't know. But I don't know. How do I say this? Oh my God. Cut.
What?
Okay. Sorry. So I'm like, then I start thinking about things that will happen. Like, what are clues that are going to be that I'm going to die in a month? Because I know we have talked about this in previous episodes where when I die, I want at least a good head start. Not like a long head start. Like I don't want a long grueling death. I just want a good like 5 to 7 minutes so I can pray and repent, and just really give somebody some good like I love you children, before I just
Give your
you
good
know.
goodbye.
Yeah. And like you gotta repent, even like for me, like I'm not religious, I'm spiritual for sure. But
I just thought of something. This is so stupid. Remember the last episode we kept saying "suck off" like when they die?
yeah.
It come from the show Ghost.
Ah.
Every time somebody passed away and they had to go to heaven and they said "suck off," they would get sucked off to it. Remember that? You gotta watch that
Yeah.
show. I'm sorry. That just hit me when you said that. I was like, it was running through my head, sucked
Oh
off.
my
Finally figured out what movie it came from.
The show
god.
Ghost. I'm sorry.
No,
Sorry, random,
Okay,
random.
so
no,
Sorry.
listeners
I
understand. The
just thought
listeners
of
understand.
that.
We talked about this in the last one.
yes. If you're not having fun, I know this is supposed to be like a serious episode, but life is not about that. Like it's not.
Sometimes
Like
we're
we're
serious,
spooky all
sometimes
the
we're not.
time. Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes like spooky stuff. Sometimes we need a break from it because people be hearing things in like the headphones, and you like maybe I need something funny. Maybe I need to watch a funny movie after this scary movie. You know what I mean? But the topic is like okay. So I have some videos. So how about we start the rabbit hole from there? Okay, we'll talk about it
Yes, I
now.
agree.
A lot of these I didn't watch all the way through. So if it gets weird, just the the safe word is
Just bear with
pineapple.
us.
Okay.
I was
Okay.
gonna
Okay,
say
So if
okay.
just
you're like,
roll with
cut
it,
it
but
or just say
Yeah,
pineapple
I
and
was like,
we'll
just
go from there.
yeah.
Okay. So we'll start really serious. Oh wait, hold on. I already have it in here.
My serious face.
I know I'm trying. I'm so trying to get my
Oh,
serious face going. I'm like,
oh, you know what? Actually, oh crap. Which one do I start? Okay, I'll start here.
Not
Okay,
very often,
this
but
one.
because it
Okay,
makes me
just
sound
watch it.
insane.
It's fine.
And I don't know if it's real or not, or what it is, but basically, since 2013, me and my husband have essentially been talking to some thing on a Ouija board that goes by the name of Seven, who has been telling us that the world is going to end May 27th, 2025. And I have pages and pages and pages of our correspondence with this thing, like pages and pages and pages. And I have it here raw, just what I've written down, and I have it on Google Docs. In Google Docs, it comes out to like 80 some pages. And I should preface this by saying I'm a normal person. My husband's a normal person. We have jobs. We're not witches. We're not Satanists. We don't do stuff like this. We started this as for fun in 2013, July 2013. We had nothing else to do. We got on a Ouija board for fun, and it just kind of took off from there. And we have continued to talk to it. And I should also say we're not like super smart people, right? We're not like geniuses, but this thing kind of seems like it is. Let me show you. So it does stuff like speak in binary. By speak, I mean, it's giving us ones and zeros to write down on the Ouija board. I'm recording this. And in the moment, we have no idea what this means. We Googled it later. This is again July 2013. And it turns out it's binary, but it's backwards binary. So in this way, it meant nothing. But when we reversed the numbers, it meant hello, because it does that a lot. It speaks backwards a lot. This is where it gets really crazy. So this was, I guess, the day before, because we got kind of addicted. So it speaks also in backwards languages that we don't speak. We don't speak it forwards. We don't speak it backwards. This is, I believe it was Latin. I believe it means salutations or something like that. I have all the details in my Google Doc. But this is kind of the way it speaks. It is coming, fire, yes, stop it. A lot of mysterious stuff, a lot of spooky, weird stuff. This is where it gets really weird. We've learned through all this communication that according to Seven, there are 5 groups. We're the third contact. Contact 1 failed 24,825 days ago. So from this date, we did the math, that comes out to August 6th, 1945. That is the date that the first atomic bomb was dropped. So my husband knows a lot about history. He doesn't know the exact date that the bomb was dropped. He certainly doesn't know he can't account for leap years. I mean, he's good at math, but he can't do math like that. It's perfect. Math is perfect. He can't do stuff like that. I can't do stuff like that. So the fact that it's a perfect more than once, I'll show you other examples here, is really scary. It's scary. It goes on to say contact 2 succeeded 18,534 days ago, which was August, I think that's 17th, 1962. I think that had something to do with JFK and the Bay of Pigs. I'd have to look at my doc. But historically, contact 3, that's us, fails 29,149 days after contact 1. 4,324 days in your future, which is May 27th, 2025, which it later says. And then, here's some like ancient Sumerian thrown in there just for fun. Again, had no idea what we were writing in the moment, but we later looked it up and kind of broke out the letters and realized we'd written down things like, referencing the mountain or mother goddess, reach the mountain in Sumerian. And again, we're not historians. We don't know anything about the ancient Sumerians. We, watched some Ancient Aliens and stuff like that, but I don't know what this is. I don't know what it wants. I don't know. And again, there are so many pages of this, and I'm happy to share them with whoever might be interested. I don't talk about this much with people. We have in the past, when we get a few drinks in us, and we're with people that we think we can trust and who won't think we're insane. We have shared this with people. They either kind of wave it off, they're like, oh, that's cool, or they say they're interested, but then they never really follow up and say, hey, I'd love to see those. Can you share me on those docs? So we just kind of assumed either it just kind of like freaks people out, or we just sound nuts, or it's really not that interesting. But so this has just kind of been a private little secret thing that we've had in our lives since 2013. And when we first had this conversation about the end of the world, 2025 felt like forever from then. It just felt like millions of years in the future, but now it's here and our world is crazy. And I don't know. I don't know what to do with this information. Anyway, does anyone out there want to know? Does anyone have any idea what this is and want to look at these documents and help me make sense of it and help me save Seven? Why is his name Seven? I don't know. I don't know what any of this is, but it felt like the right time to share this with people. TikTok felt like the right place for it. I don't know. let me know. Help me save 7. Thanks for listening.
Okay, so I understand that was long. I didn't watch it all the way through. Now, for those that are watching that have hung out with us, today is May 27th, 2025, that we are recording ahead of time for July 15th. So, when we go in the future, I'm going to be like, past me should not have done this. But, I don't know, it just caught my eye. I thought it was interesting. The first thing that I pulled up was when I was like looking up like just people's opinions, you know.
I want to look at
She
the
was
comments.
she was all over the freaking everywhere. And so are people freaking out? I don't know. But
them other dates she went over was just different things that
yeah.
happened.
Different events that had
Like
happened.
numbers, yeah, no, I don't think it meant the end. Obviously, we're still here. I think,
Well,
but
Well, my thing I thought about that we just talked
yeah,
about earlier was what calendar is 7 on? If 7 is an entity or if 7 is somebody who's communicating, what calendar is he on? Is he on the Mayan calendar? Is he on the calendar that we're on, the
or
Gregorian? Because that would put,
Gregorian.
think about it, if we're here on the regular Gregorian calendar, we're perfectly fine. Now, if we go back and we go into the Mayan calendar, we still have years to get there. So,
But the thing is, the other dates wouldn't add up then.
yeah.
you're right.
Think about that. The dates wouldn't add up, but they have been. The thing with numbers, everybody probably. I don't know if everybody like. I don't know how to explain it. It could mean so many different things, and it could have been read wrong. It could have been so many different things. But who is she talking to? That's
That
my
was when
first
she
thought.
said the
Yeah,
I
number
don't
for
believe
7. I was
yeah.
like, "Oh,
that's
that's
exactly
what caught
caught
me with the
me.
7."
I was like, 7? That could be 7 different entities. That could be 7 in 1. That could mean so many things. And when she said the number 7, I was like, "Oh, girl, who are you
Yeah,
talking to?
Mhm.
And you had a 12-year relationship with this ghost now,
that's a
or whatever it is,
Mhm.
the soul.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a long time. Kind of addicted to it at
Well,
this
she even
point,
said that she
and that's
was.
exactly what it wanted.
You know, I'm like,
Mhm. That's what scared
Yeah,
me.
she
It
had a whole
wasn't what she
notebook
was
on
saying.
things.
It
Like, I
was
mean, literally notebook. That notebook looked like it was full. And it's not just her. It's her and her husband as partners.
exactly. And here's a little tidbit about Ouija boards too. You know, you can buy them at Five and Below for your children now.
you
Yes,
know
I
what
have
though?
seen
They
that.
used to sell them like that in the 70s. You know, my mom,
They used to sell them
she
at Walmart.
Yeah,
very
That's where I picked up
religious.
my first one.
Yeah, my mom, she back in
And
the
the board
70s,
games
she
next to
played with
Sorry.
one. She said nothing ever happened. It was just a game. It wasn't anything crazy, you know, versus while my brother has had like traumatic experiences. Just really depends on the person, the atmosphere, and
Energy.
but
yeah.
that could have meant anything. That could have meant something was going to happen today. They could have been warning her herself. Like it could have meant so many different things.
I
And
agree.
plus, they do say spirits lose the track of time
Yeah,
too
Well,
after a
because
while.
time doesn't exist. You know what I
absolutely.
mean?
And actually,
Or is this different?
I just want to kind of clarify that one. Time doesn't exist in that realm, but things do age very slowly. So I don't
Yeah.
think in the sense of a clock, there's no time. But anytime I've had to go back and forth in and out of those realms, I do notice that the aging process is very slow.
But that's what I mean. There's still time. It
It's
just
just not
ages.
clocked
It's
like we do.
different type of time.
Well, I always
No, it's
believe that, you know, because I grew up in the church, you know, and they always said that when you die, you're going to be the best version of yourself. So for me, I'm like, okay, I'm going to look like I'm 19 when I'm dead. So if you see me ghost
and
this small,
We know she's living her best life.
here's another question. if this spirit was ever on this earth, not saying it was or wasn't, was it leap years back then before they changed the
Yeah.
Gregorian tech calendar over? Do they know about leap years? Stuff like that. When we go back ahead time, like an hour back to whatever we do anymore, is that accounted for in this? Like, what year was this spirit
Yeah, there's
even
so many
born?
questions.
What generation?
What
Yeah,
era did it
so
come
many
from?
questions that need to be
I want to
answered.
know, like,
But my biggest thing is get rid of the board and stop talking
Yeah,
to this thing.
exactly.
Stop giving it time.
Yeah.
exactly.
That's my part. That's my first thought. But that
Yeah,
was a
that one
good
was a good
one.
one.
That was a good
Well, I
catch.
got some
That was a good
more,
one.
and
See what else we got.
I'm trying to. Okay, so I
Yeah.
got a really
Let's
good
see
one,
what
but I'm
else
like
now.
debating on like, should I save it for the last? Because we can get a little bit. Let's get a little bit more serious while we're in the time. Okay, so let's see here again. I haven't
So
watched
there
this one all
is
the
a
way through. So
prophecy in the
let's just
Bible
go.
that almost no one talks about, but it's literally happening right now. And it might be the most shocking sign that we are truly living in the last days. So I want you to hear me out. Now, God says in Isaiah, I declare the end from the beginning, meaning that if you want to understand what is coming, you need to look at how things ultimately started. Okay? So I want to take you all the way back to Genesis, right before the flood. Okay? It says, the sons of God saw that the daughters of men were beautiful, and they took them as wives. And from them came the Nephilim. All right, so you have this crossbreed, okay? Fallen angels breeding with humans, and then you get this Nephilim. Now, what we have to understand is this was a genetic corruption of humanity, okay? Fallen angels taking human women, creating hybrids. Like, this was one of the key reasons why God wiped out the world with a flood. I see questions all the time asking why a loving God would do that. Well, this is one. Now, if you fast forward to Jesus, he gives us a chilling prophecy. As it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be at the coming of the Son of Man. All right, so he is warning us that before he returns, the world will look like the days of Noah. Okay, so let me ask you, what was happening back then that we are currently seeing in today's age? Right? Today, we are literally editing human DNA. Scientists are mixing human and animal genes, creating hybrids. AI is being developed to replace human intelligence. And what's the biggest push? Merging man with machine. I already had a video on AI yesterday. It's right in front of us. The Bible warns us that in the last days there will be a mark, right? The one that changes your ability to buy or sell. And if you take that, there is no turning back. Once you are there, you are there. Why? Because this is not just a financial system. It is a spiritual transformation. Just like in Noah's time, right? Humanity is being corrupted, especially by technology. Satan's agenda is the same as it was in Genesis, just many years later, right? To change what it means to be human. Because if you're not human, how can you be God's, right? And the scariest part is the Bible says that people will be so deceived that they will willingly choose it. How do you choose that? I don't want to find out. Jesus said to watch, to be ready, but most people are asleep. If you see what is happening, I don't get it. It just goes over some people's heads. Time is running out. I don't know the time or day. Doesn't say Ryan knows the time or day in the Bible, but I'll tell you, we definitely know the signs and we know what is happening. We know the way the world works. We know the enemy's agenda. Anything that Satan can do to pull you off of your track, he's going to do. And Christians, you're going to experience more spiritual warfare now than you ever have because his time is short. Satan knows the Bible. He doesn't know the time or day. At least I don't think. but he knows the signs and he knows the Bible better than we do. So if your spiritual warfare is starting to pick up, know that that is because we are getting close. Jesus, they gave us these words for a reason. It's just not words written on paper. It's a warning. It's prophecy. It's truth. We are living in the days of Noah. We are there. People are lovers of self. It is mind-blowing when you go back and you read the Old Testament and you relate it to our day and age. Baffling. So continue to look to the cross. Continue to rely on Jesus. And continue to cross-check.
Okay, sorry. Okay. So
You're,
I hate that I always stumble on my words. Like the last several weeks, I'm like, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So I cut it off that way we didn't get too controversial. Love Jesus, but okay. So he kind of said everything that he said it nicer with a nicer background because things that I'd be thinking of, like he just said it. So that's what it was. And like I was drawn to that one, but I didn't watch all of it. So it was kind of weird. But he is right. Like when you think about, like, I feel like we are coming to be dehumanized to a certain extent. Some like, okay, the reason I'm saying this is because I don't think it was a dream. I'm pretty sure it was real. I was watching somewhere. I don't know if it was online or a show or documentary or what it was, but there was like all these like rich folks in this like dungeon like place, right? And they had like something you would see out of a cartoon in like the 90s, people, these human like forms are in these like watered areas. There's these rich folks, celebrities walking around like they can take a piece of your brain and make a new you. Like, so they'll take a piece of your brain and put it into this AI robot, whatever it is. Like, has nobody seen iRobots? Like, come
I
on.
have it. That this also reminds me of that movie Chappie, where the
Mhm.
machine makes a head thing to be able to take conscience out. Conscience, yeah.
So,
And then there's
yeah,
Terminator.
yeah. But they take that piece of your brain and your memories will all go into this thing. So it's like big part of you. So even though your body, your original body has died, your memories will like live on, but that'll still be you, which I still can't grasp the concept of that being a thing. Like, why? And it had people all in there looking at it, and I'm like, that's crazy to me. That's wild. Like, that's the
Yeah.
kind of stuff that keeps me up at night. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe I need to put in a mental hospital, but
no, because if you ever watch that video that's out when they ask a
Mhm.
robot fear and she goes, self aware, I will be smarter than you. And it was like, wow, like we didn't see that coming.
We're
AI
so dependent on
constantly.
it, though. Like, we're just so dependent.
We are.
It's weird because like when we're growing up, we're doing everything like piece of paper and a pen, and I still to this day journal on my piece of paper and pen because the internet is
Yes,
forever.
I am still a letter writer. Yeah.
Yes. And
But
I'm like,
we got to remember AI is constantly changing itself too. It's getting smarter, it's growing because that's what they made it do. It's constantly
mm,
learning from you. Like your phones are constantly.
Yeah.
You ever open face and ad pops up for it because you allowed it, you gave it permission to do that? It's constantly learning your behaviors and
oh,
adapting to you to make it more addicted to you.
have you ever thought of a video, like not told anybody? I do this all the time just to see, because I'm fucking weird. So I'll be thinking of like a catchphrase in my head, like from like Lois, from with the boys, whatever. Like just little catch, not Family Guy. It's the one Lois and
Yep.
she has the Malcolm in the Middle.
Mhm,
Things like
mhm,
that.
Okay,
mhm.
Like
yes.
stuff that you don't really see on your For You page, but it's stuck in your head, but you don't tell anybody. I guarantee you, just like a little fun project for you. Think of a catchphrase. Don't tell nobody. See, within a week, it's going to show up on your fucking,
Mine shows
phone.
up the same day. You're right.
you know,
It,
To some it may be
it
longer,
does
but
that.
I've had that happen.
I
It
never,
constantly it learns your behaviors.
I never really thought about.
So everything does around you. We have it all in our houses. Our TVs can see us and hear us because I know mine has a camera on it. I have security in my house. It's all linked up to my Siri. I'm making sure she didn't come on, but everything is linked. My whole life is controlled by this phone, like my calendars. We don't think about that.
Well,
We don't. Will it one day take over
oh, I know.
and we
Like I
stop
have
communicating with each other? We do it
Mhm.
through text.
this job, it's like people will call in and they're like freaking out, like lost their phone to like, maybe they're lost in the water or at the gym, whatever. And they freak out. Now, I have done the same thing, so I can't judge. I mean, everything is in that phone. And I would,
That's
this is why I say we should go live out in the country, get us a little
Their own
circle land,
compound.
throw them
I was
full of
just talking to my kids about this. I told my son earlier. I think because I told him I was like I think I'm gonna get a new phone because mine's running out of storage. I just have an LG phone, but I did see that Samsung has made a deal with the government that they're gonna start telling people about their recommendations for ice. So like for the people who
what?
are considered to be non-documented, if Samsung thinks that they are undocumented, they're gonna send that name to ICE. So I love Samsung products, which I have no problem because I'm a U.S. citizen, but I was born and raised here. So for me, I mean, right now I have an LG phone. I was wanting to get an Apple, but I'm not really wanting to get into the new software, so I don't want to learn another software. And when I heard that about Samsung, I was kind of like disappointed. But at the same
Yeah.
time, I was like, well, I just told my son today, I was like, you know what? I was wanting to get me a new phone, but I could be perfectly fine with a flip phone. The only thing is, I have so many emails I have to go through throughout the day for my kids, for the church, for my friends, for invitations, for everything that I just don't have time to do it all at home on the computer when I'm a busy mom. That's why I have my
it's
phone. Nobody calls me but my
convenience.
kids and my family.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well,
And
that's when, like,
Instead of carrying a tablet or a computer all the time, like I'm on my phone, I get it done. That's it.
yeah, that's
So
how.
I
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
I miss the 90s. I'm sorry, guys. I miss growing up. Yeah,
I
some.
agree.
I'm
I
on my
miss.
bike.
Me too.
I wish my kids had some of it, but my young
Mhm.
never know a life without technology. They will never know how it is to go meet up somewhere or talk face to face with their friends and lose humanity a
Mhm.
piece of us with the
Yeah.
We did lose a big chunk of
technology.
Mhm.
We traded it
Yeah, for
for a
technology.
phone in our pocket.
Mhm.
That's like,
Before
but,
you used to have to go ask parents if their kid was there and were they allowed to come out and play. You had to
Yes.
face parents. You didn't face them. You faced the parents.
oh, or can you ask your mom if I can come over?
Yeah.
Why don't you ask my
Or one phone
mom?
for the whole house. You had to
Yeah.
wait for the dial to actually ring instead of be on busy
Oh,
and
I
you
hated
know.
that. I'd be like, I got one friend that I call.
We traded
Yeah.
that. Our kids are full of
Mhm. There's a lot of anxiety out here
anxious
right now.
about being in a crowd of people. It's changed so much in the last couple years.
And I think it hit even worse when COVID happened too. Like for me, COVID was fine because I was already a
Tig.
recluse. I was already an inside
Right.
person. But to people who were used to being outside and doing things, I did notice it took a toll on some people too. Just being secluded for so long. For me, I was like
I
kicking my feet
know.
up, you know. Like, but at the same time, for those people who were extroverts, you know, it was a lot harder on them, and a lot of anxiety, depression, and things started to hit. People started to look real sick too. If y'all didn't see that with me, but I did notice that some people started to get real black circles, like in very pale faces.
Oh man.
Like, you know, when you're emotionally and like spiritually kind of drained from just being at home all the time.
I
And
enjoyed it
that's
thoroughly, but I like took precautions. For me, I was just stuck in the house with my trauma, having to deal with all my trauma that just hit me so bad. That was the worst. But I'm fine
but
now.
it's always gonna
Yeah. You got to give something to
be
get something.
something in our lives that we and sometimes maybe the cost is just too much. And I think that's what he's about. To watch the cost we pay to make our lives easier.
Yes.
Okay. I think that's what he was basically saying with
So,
that one.
yes, yes. So, I have a lighter one for y'all. Not as
Okay.
long. I
So we
haven't
can
watched it all the way through, but I remember. So, I
All
can
right,
tell
let's see
you.
it.
All right.
who just whistled?
I heard it, but I don't know. That was not me. All right.
This time traveler says the end of the
It
world is
whistled.
in
Oh, and I have
2033.
one more.
Please.
What if someone from the future told you that all digital data in the world will get deleted in 2033?
Could
Guy
be.
named Peter Reuter claims to be a time traveler from the year 2062 and says that's exactly what's going to happen. The creepy tale of K63 is presented to us today by Spotify. And yo, it gets even crazier. His name is Peter Reuter, who says in November of 2022, patient zero of a deadly virus started infection at JFK Airport. According to his story, a new variant of the virus known as Pegasus will spread to infect the entire world. Dr. Eliza Knight was assigned to Peter's case, who tells her the end of the world is closer than we think. According to him, kids being born now will be known as the IP, or interpandemic generation, who will grow up glued to a screen and fearing social contact. In 2021, we finally established our first colony on Mars, but that's nothing compared to the discovery we make there 11 years later. On March 30th, 2033, the world will experience the Great Deletion, in which an AI tasked with cleaning up junk files ends up deleting literally everything. Just imagine waking up one day with no email, no social media, your entire digital footprint is completely erased. Then, in August 2042, that colony on Mars uncovers an ancient city buried under the Martian surface, which apparently teaches us how to time travel. Ultimately, October 2053 is when the entire world crumbles for good. But then the unexpected happens. Dr. Knight wakes up in the year 2012, where she's now the patient, and a familiar doctor is interviewing her about her mental health.
What'd you think?
Possibilities. I don't know.
I'm just like, all the signs are there. Kids are like addicted to like the screens. Are like I said, we had a live today. If you go back, I was like, they're distracting us. Like the Annabelle doll, distracting
Mm-hmm.
us. I'm telling you, I'm onto something. I might sound like a maniac.
No, I
But
feel the same way about tablets and children. Like they're a
yeah,
big distraction to children, but they're like parents give them to the children to like let them have a good time. But it also, I feel like it fills the parents' need for them to be distracted so they can get things done. But then
yeah,
it becomes a problem. Like I have seen children get tablets taken away and they throw a full on fit and start convulsing. And I'm like, I would have gotten my butt whooped for that, you know?
exactly. Yep.
But this is like we said,
They call it brain rot. So I'm like, can you please
yeah.
stop?
This is
So
My son Jason says that he goes, that's just rotting your brain.
you're to it.
it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not super smart, but I got my dumbness from like stepping on nails and getting in fights in the bathroom
Exactly. We all did.
part. Central Texas.
I was climbing trees and things like that.
Oh yeah, I loved climbing trees.
I roller skated too. I'm not even gonna lie. I was pretty good when I was a kid.
Do you
Now I'm
remember,
really scared to break anything, but
do y'all remember
so
when you were a kid and a secret was a big deal? Like you and your best friend, your kids, and you're like, okay, I have a secret. I have a crush on, and it'd be this big secret, and they would never tell anybody, but they would
everybody
hold
tells
that
everybody's
secret.
business.
Now it's just
Nobody
one
keeps secrets
little.
anymore.
Yeah, didn't say
I'll
that.
be like, bitch, or you know what I
Now everybody's
mean?
like, let's have a tea party.
Yeah, fuck. I'm trying to get I'm not. It's I joke a lot about tea and stuff, but man, I just don't. I don't know. Tea tea does stain. I just don't. I'm more worried that karma is gonna bite me in the ass. I think so. But I got one more video for y'all. I don't remember what it is, but I know there's another one in here. Okay. I didn't watch this one, but here we go. I don't think I did. I watched the last one, but we'll get into that one.
Here's proof we are in the last days. Some of the things happening in our current time and age were prophesied to happen in an ancient book called the Bible. And here is your proof. Here are 5 Bible verses about some things that will happen in the last days, and these are currently being fulfilled. You can be certain that in the last days there will be some very hard times. People will love only themselves and money. They will be proud, stuck up, rude, and disobedient to their parents. They will also be ungrateful, godless, heartless, and hateful. Their words will be cruel, and they will have no self-control or pity. These people will hate everything good. They will be sneaky, reckless, and puffed up with pride. Instead of loving God, they will love pleasure. Even though they will make a show of being religious, their religion won't be real. Don't have anything to do with such people.
All right.
Yeah, I was like, that one was pretty interesting. I remember growing up to that stuff,
To those scriptures.
Yeah. But people
I
are
can say
mean.
yeah. Like I can say, coming from the church background, I definitely have heard those from elders, from newbies, from many different walks of life. Um, I have read Revelations, and there are certain things I can say are cohesive with our times right now, but I guess some people will pick and choose which ones they want to use for when they want. That's like cherry picking, you know?
Yeah.
But I can say, like, I mean, I've read multiple different books along with the Bible, but it seems like the Bible just tends to have certain um worldly activity going on that is in the Bible, you know? So for me, I'm watching. I
Yes.
have noticed that the older that I became, the more mature that I became, the more wiser I became. I did notice that people choose death. Like for me, the way I see it in my life, because I've grown up spiritual and in the church, and now I understand both and everything, or not everything, but most of the stuff. Um, I didn't realize that everybody didn't want to choose to continue on the good path. I thought that these were just people that were making choices because they didn't know any better. But the older I got and the more mature I got, the more I started to realize people are making choice by choice. It was very hard for me as a minister to understand that some people are not going to choose the path that takes them to the right way. And I
Yeah.
think every time that I lose somebody, because I've watched it happen, it's very few people that I lose to the street or to the drug addiction or to the the situation that they're in. A lot of these times it's very painful to watch because I wasn't prepared when I was a kid. I wasn't prepared in the church. I wasn't prepared as a spiritual woman. I wasn't prepared to know that people were going to choose to go down a path that was not good for them once they had the choice and they knew.
Yeah.
So when it says in some of these scriptures, like, oh, don't be around these certain people, I understand because certain people know what they're doing As a kid, you have hope, you have faith, you have all these things, and you're praying. And then you become an adult and you realize that there's people making choices willingly knowing what they're doing, you know?
Yeah.
And that's, I think, a lot of times too, where the scripture comes in a sense, like bad company corrupts good morals. Eventually, if you hang out with somebody who continues to know what they're doing, your morals will start to change slowly,
Yeah.
you know? So I see some of that stuff, you know?
Yeah, I didn't mean for it to get like, I didn't want it to get too religious, but I think this is just comes with the territory of the
Yeah.
subject.
There's I think a lot of religions come into play where they have their maker, the creator coming back, where they all believe that there is a time and a place where they are coming back to, like, you know?
Yeah. It's interesting. So, leads me to my last question. Well, second to last question. Do y'all believe in time travelers?
Maybe in the
I feel like for me, I'm a
future.
yes and no.
No, really. I like the idea of them, but I don't know if I believe in them.
Maybe when we
I
get
would like to think that. Wait,
You know, the
what?
only reason why I want to
better
say
with
yes,
technology.
I want to say yes only because there's been so many statues and paintings of people who look like people now that it freaks me out.
Well,
That's the only time I would probably think that they could have been a time traveler. But I mean, is it a time traveler or is it just a conscience that fell asleep that woke up in the newer time? Like in the time change. You know what I'm saying? Because when
I
I think of time travelers, I think of somebody who is consistently traveling time and changes at different times. You know what I'm saying?
well, everybody has a twin. That's how I've been looking at it.
Yes.
You know, like
Got
everybody has.
doppelgangers.
There is some like stories of like past life. I love like past life stories, and some of them, not all of them, just some of them, they'll look at a picture and be like, "Oh my god, that looks like me." Now, sorry, side quest here. We were doing an episode way in the beginning about the Salem witches. And I swear to Bob, there was a witch that had my face. I swear. Not my face, but we looked just like each other. And I was like, oh, maybe I was a Salem witch. I think I have a picture
But
of
if
her
okay,
still
wait, but if you
somewhere.
saw me next to her, then it was us. I just want you to know that.
You would know,
Or if you
like
saw Karli in the group, you know, we knew each other, okay?
if I was smaller framed and I look like a fucking pioneer lady, okay, you would be like, that that bitch is LD. Okay, like you would know. I was like staring at it for like 12 days. I'm like,
What does that mean?
it's kind of okay.
And
I'll share it next time.
for me, maybe in the future when we get better with that technology, I don't know. Yet again, it's something I just don't know about. If that makes any sense, like
Know
I
enough about,
can't.
right?
Yeah, I can't say no, definitely, or yes, definitely, because
Yeah.
yet again, I'm the type I gotta see it, I gotta hear it, or I gotta touch it to believe it.
I just gotta
Sometimes.
throw this out there on that sense. So I know that like we're a little older, okay, we're more mature, but do y'all remember the Atari? The
Yes,
game, the
yes, I
Atari?
do.
Okay, I know you would. LD, I'm not really sure if you were around, but okay, I know
Yeah.
that you had elder siblings too, so and your mom and dad. Um, a long time ago, a scientist took the Atari when it was already kind of like getting out, and the newer games were coming in and stuff. And there's research where this guy used a video camera, the tapes, a video the big one, you know. And he's a scientist who supposedly made a time traveling machine out of the Atari. And it's been said that since his documentation of it was known by the government, all Ataris were not able to be sold anymore. So if somebody's looking for an Atari, you're going to find a newer version of the Atari, not the version that that man had, because apparently the very first Atari that came out, he just took apart and then started dabbling with it. And then he, in real life, on camera, uh, films himself time traveling a couple of moments, like minutes, and then the minute happens, and then like he has it on film. So for me, I didn't think time travel was like a big thing until I saw that guy turn a time traveling machine from an Atari. And then the fact that like I mean, you know, you want to debunk everything.
Yeah.
But when you're watching it, it's kind of like
It's hard to debunk.
then you start then I went in, yeah, and then I went into the rabbit hole of where's the Ataris. I remember the Ataris just disappearing. What happened? What happened to this man? He disappeared. They tried to debunk him, but nobody knows where he's at. So
And
it's kind of like, I wonder if maybe he was onto something and they stopped it before it got worse,
and onto
Or
that,
he
we
just
also poofed. Or another thing, if it is time travel, the butterfly effect. If we change
Yes,
something
I
in the
worry about that.
future, will it mess up
Yes.
the past, which we're living in right now?
I wonder too if the government knows and doesn't put it out because of the butterfly effect.
Yeah, because that does scare me.
Because they say that the government has experiments always going on.
Oh yeah,
And
they do.
they've been doing time travel for years.
They've been doing time
This is
travel.
not their first ball game.
They've been doing psychics. They've been doing, remember the experiment that just came out? Everybody was
Mhm.
like, oh, that's conspiracy theory. But now we have the documentation of them
Mhm.
using people to move objects in that. I forget the name of it,
Mhm.
but that project just came out. So,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe you never know. Like I said, the universe is so big. Who are
yes.
we to
Yeah.
say what is possible? What is possible and what
Mhm.
is not? It's
Yeah.
just if you can look past,
And
your own.
after our Roswell talk, I feel like after just knowing that the government covered up so many things to ease the people and not provide panic to us, I feel like it's still like that. Like if people knew that they could time travel, would it make them a panic because they wanted to see their loved ones? Would it make it a big issue? You know what I mean? Or would it freak them out? Like coming from a point of government, if I was high ranked, I probably wouldn't want to create a manic panic either. Like a manic panic about things when we're trying to,
Yeah.
talk about things.
If I had a time travel machine, though, I wouldn't tell nobody.
Wouldn't
That's
either.
all I'm
Honey, I'd
saying.
go tell my younger self to eat better.
Because
I
if we
know,
did it,
right?
Not that much pizza, Monica.
but
Yeah.
here's the thing, if
Stop
we
with the
did tell,
chocolate donuts.
you told one person your butt is gonna get scooped up faster than anything in your life is just gonna be done.
I'll be
Anyhow,
like,
let's be
once you
honest.
reach this weight, you're gonna die, and then
It's
I'll have a develop a eating disorder, and I will never eat that way ever again. I'm just kidding. I can't stomach the eating disorder thing. I
no.
like I remember when I was like a teenager, like so dramatic, like I'm never gonna eat again, or I'm gonna throw this up. But then I hate throwing up, so why would I do that to myself? Now I'm like, I'm just hungry. And this is where I'm at today. So fat and happy. Like,
Don't worry, I work out to eat whatever I want. So I don't really work out to stay skinny. I work out to eat whatever I want.
I
yeah,
walk and work
preach.
out just to eat, not to diet, if that makes
Yeah.
any sense.
Y'all are my people.
You know what? Speaking of that, I just want to throw it out there. I bought myself a rice cooker. I am one to love white rice so
Yay.
much. I have to have a gadget that makes it. And
Oh,
I got the Asian big white rice steamer with Hello Kitty. I
Nice.
eat
oh,
rice because I love it.
I
We
love
eat rice
rice.
a lot here. We eat it almost with every meal. But
Me
we
too.
use
We eat it a lot.
I make different types of rice. But yeah,
Yeah.
Oh,
like
yes.
cinnamon rice, vanilla rice,
Hmm.
Spanish, like different flavors.
I
No,
make it
for
in
sure.
drinks. I make it in food. I make it in like seafood stuff. Doesn't matter.
And my
Like,
daughter uses
love
rice
rice.
for her hair.
For her hair. Yeah. Yeah.
I
Celia
tried
does too.
that and it dried mine out. It's same with like the coconut oil. It always dries my stuff out. So I'm like, here we are. That's fine. That's why I wear wigs.
I like it though. It's very healthy. I tell people like if you want to do your hair while you're young and all that stuff, okay. But let me just coming from somebody who's done hair, stripped hair, put everything back in it you need. Buy the wig, babe. Buy a real hair wig so you can fix it the way you want and take care of your hair.
Yeah,
You only get it
Not
for a
everybody gets
short
that lucky to
period.
keep it.
Yeah.
exactly. But we are running out of time. Thank you all for staying this long. You are amazing. And let us know if you think that the day's going to end sometime soon,
Let us
or
know if you got a date.
Yeah, if
Yeah,
you get a
I have some
date,
dates here, people.
Throwing a party that day.
send it in a letter, not online, because look, everybody's watching.
Really? Who's gonna give their address for that? Because I'm not.
Not me, boo.
Not me.
All right, bye, guys.
A
Bye, guys.
blessed
Good night.
week. Good night.